Hey everybody, Jason, Cattywampus Acres. Today I'm going to show you how to trim some goat hooves. We actually have some pretty long hooves, and so you guys will be able to see what really goes into it, because we've let these ones go too far. These ones are going to be good examples for you to see what you don't want yours to get to. So we're not trying to be mean goat owners. It's just sort of hustle and bustle of life. The rain that we've had lately has caused an issue. These girls and boys will be pretty happy when they get these things trimmed so they can walk nice and flat. The things we're going to need today are trimmers. These ones, I think we got these off of Amazon. Just, you can see they're just plastic handle. They're pretty sharp, so don't get your finger in there. And then these ones have the capability to lock right there. We always keep some blue coat. Any kind of cuts or injury that any of your animals have, this stuff's awesome. It is a germicidal, fungicidal. It says spray on horses and dogs. We use it on everybody. Pigs, chickens, goats, donkey, anybody that's got like a open cut wound, anything like that. Or in this case, if we go too far trimming the hooves and we draw a little blood, we'll spray some of this on it. And if you are able to get some clotting powder. The clotting powder is really good to put on there. You just wet it a little bit and stick it on there, and that'll stop the bleeding. So anything that's like a septic kind of deal will work great. So let's get into it.
Hey, Floyd here. You like what you're seeing? You like goats? Why don't you subscribe to this channel so we can tell you everything you need to know about goats?
Okay, so for us, we use our milking stanchion that I built, and this is what holds their heads in place, and so they don't get all over the place when we are trimming their hooves. And so I like to start at the back because the backs are the easiest. And so what I like to do is just bring their legs naturally come up towards them like this. And so I like to bring their hooves up and trim that way. And what we're going for is for the top of the hoof to be even with the bottom once we're all said and done. And then they do have these little claws, hooves back here, and sometimes we'll nip those down a little bit if they get a little long. And then they have cloven hooves, and so you want the nice separation in between the two sides of their hoof. And so you don't want them crossing over each other, and you don't want a real sharp point at the end, because you will feel that. And so Lauren's out with me so she can help, because sometimes, depending on your goat, this becomes a one man, one woman job, depending on who you got at the farm. So yeah, so sometimes you need a helper and sometimes it helps. So let's go. These ones you just hold like this. It's actually sort of fits your hand. It's best to start and take little chunks first, and then you can always use the sharp part and clean out the mud. So real quick, I just want to show you guys, it's the wall of the hoof that grows. And so this is the cloven part, how it's separated, and then the mud will gather in here. But we really want to take this wall down and this pad back here. And then also, occasionally we'll take a little bit off of this dew hoof back here. But if you start cutting into the middle part of the hoof, that's where you're going to get blood. So stay away from it. Also, this part, this is how the hooves grow over, and this will eventually cripple a goat, so you don't want to have that happen. You can see these back pads will actually grow into each other, and that's what we don't want. And you can see I didn't go down too far, but mainly we're just taking the wall down. And if you see the top of the hoof, it's right here. And we're sort of matching the top to the bottom. I'm just going to go a little bit further. And sometimes a little bit further is all it takes to make them bleed. So right there, big difference. Marty's being a little difficult. And then we want the back of this even as well. Doesn't hurt them, she's just their goats. As you can see, getting that all cleaned out, leveled off. Then we'll take a little nip off the back of these just to keep them under control. These will bleed as well if you go too far, so just be careful. You just don't want anything growing into itself. So all in all, that's a good hoof right there. Now we're good, and it's even. Looks sort of like a high compared to like a platform shoe or like a high heel. These girls are always dressing fancy. So that's a good trim right there. No blood, didn't go too far, and we've got her back in good shape. Sometimes it's good to grip them up like this, and then they can't really move as much. And so the good thing to remember is, even if you have a lot, what appears to be a lot to go, it's always better to just do little cuts and sort of try and keep your snippers level, and so you don't get too far ahead of yourself. And Tina's not really one of our bad ones. She's pretty easy. It's a good looking hoof right there. I'll probably hit these dew claws just a little bit. I will say this, is that when it's been raining, their hooves are a little softer and easier to trim. So we swapped out because my back is killing me. As you can see, the goats don't like being held, so you got to watch your hands when you're trimming to make sure you're not trimming the tip of your finger off as they pull away. But usually if you hold them up tight, it's hard for them to move. Also, there's a little tendon at the back of their leg that's sort of easy to squeeze, and doesn't hurt them, but it definitely keeps them in order. So Peyton's one of her ones that her hooves do not get nearly as bad. If I were you, I wouldn't spend a lot of time on it. It's just they try and make them as quick as possible because the goats do not like holding still for that long. So get through them quick, make them flat, and that's all you got to do. Pay close attention how Lauren leans over her, because then you sort of hold her body tight and pull her arm, or you pull her leg up near her, and that's a good way to hold even the most stubborn goats still. And our goats are Nigerian dwarf goats. They're miniature goats, but this is the same technique can be used for any goats. It's just depending on your goat, maybe a little bit more of a fight. But at about 2 feet, these guys aren't too bad to control. And if you're wondering, we keep a little bit of sweet feed in there for them in the milking stanchion, just to hopefully keep them occupied while we are trimming their hooves. In comes the herd for the rest of the hoof trimming. Down comes all the boys and Fiona and the cat. And everybody's trying to get in on this feed situation while the rest of the hooves are getting trimmed. I would say one day here at Cattywampus Acres without complete chaos was something strange, and I'd be worried. And Lauren is just buzzing right through these hooves. We only have Jolene, the jerk, is about the only one that we have issues with, because her hooves grow crazy and she doesn't listen very well. If you've ever watched any of our videos, you would know that Jolene is the biggest problem child on this entire place, and most goat farmers would probably sell her. So next we're going to do one of the little ones, and they're not too bad to do. They're just, you got to be super sensitive, and these little girls are so tiny, and so are their hooves, so we'll try and be quick with them. And there's no goat I've ever met that likes to be held still. So you can see they got tiny little hooves. Nothing too crazy. They're little dew hoof. They're just so tiny, but they do grow over, and you don't want that. Little tiny legs.
It's okay.
Hey everyone, if you like what you're seeing so far and you want to learn more about goats, please subscribe down below and hit that bell notification so you can keep up to date with everything we're doing here on the farm. And please like and comment so we can interact with you guys. We really love doing that. We like the back and forth. We like talking, answering questions, and hearing what you guys do as well.